23 minutes in front of 10 o'clock.
9:37. I thought we started at 9:30.
Well, I gave you a couple extra minutes because at 9:32 it didn't appear as if you're ready to go.
We're always ready. We're on.
Okay. Well,
Are
you know
Mark?
what?
Good morning.
Next year when I do this show, I'll just throw it right at you then.
Right. Okay.
Are you here next year?
Well, Greg usually takes this week off.
That could be next week, I mean.
It could be next week.
Next week is next year.
Well, yeah, you're right.
It's here. We're going to have to change the year that we write.
You know, that's going to get me until March.
Right, I know. It takes a good 6 months.
You got any plans for this weekend?
No. Although I was hearing about the JTA rides.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, it'd be kind of nice to volunteer and drive people home. But then I thought, what if they got sick in your car? That didn't sound very appealing.
You're such a giving person.
That's what I like about you. You're always looking at all angles.
Right.
You know?
I thought, well,
That would never occur to me. Would it occur to you?
If I was picking up people who are a bit inebriated,
yeah.
It might be an afterthought.
Right. Well, I was right by Paul's Auto Wash when I thought of it, so.
Wow.
All right.
So we usually stay home, and they've got that run, the Jingle Bell Run. Is that what they call it? They called it that in the '90s. I don't know if they still call it.
I don't know.
On New Year's Eve, I'm kind of playing with the idea of doing it.
Okay. Okay. Well, good luck.
I haven't made that commitment yet.
Have fun with that. There's Eve on the Ave, which I.
Well, that's the same thing. It's at the same time. It's like at 10 o'clock that night.
It's not the same thing.
Well, it's all part of that whole event thing. I'm sure. At least it was when I did it in the 90s.
Okay.
Late 90s. I saw that shirt, too.
Okay.
So, and we could go out. There have been times where we just go out in the middle of Michigan Avenue when it's snowing really hard. There's no traffic at midnight, and you can see the fireworks.
Oh, yeah?
It's very cool.
Okay.
Very cool.
All right.
From where we live.
I know. We always. My wife has always made plans, and I say every year in maybe August, hey, we should plan on doing Eve on the Ave.
Oh.
And then by the time December comes along, hey, are we going to do Eve? No, we already made plans. We're doing this. I'm like, come on.
Well, why didn't you make the plans?
Well, I thought that was me saying that back at.
Well, we could see who's got
Does she
the
listen
control.
to the show?
No, she does not listen to the show.
Yeah, because you should say
She
it
can listen
directly
to
to
our
her.
show.
She listens.
She just
she's
doesn't listen to
Yeah.
your show.
She's probably tuning in right now.
Got it.
Right.
So how would people get a hold of us, Laura? If somebody wanted to ask us a question or two,
A real estate question?
any kind of question,
787-3397.
Yeah.
or
Or they can call us at our office at 780-3800.
or
Oh, I'm sorry. It was Mark. You'll have to go to our website at thinkingrealestate.com to see what Mark just did. And you can email Mark at thinkingrealestate.com.
exactly.
MARK.
Either way.
Either way.
I
But
did
you
it
two
both- I
match.
did it
You're
both
both
ways.
the C's. Aren't you a C?
I am a C.
Did I ever tell you that my sister said so many times at her office when she was working in an office in Detroit that when I would call, she would say it's Mark with a C, and people actually thought my last name was with a C.
That's funny.
They were the sharpest tools.
I've never heard that one before.
Anyway,
Well, I thought
What are we talking
maybe
about
we
today?
could kind of review what we did with some of our transactions, our challenges of the year. It kind of dawned on me that people think everybody else's job's easy. Like, I bet people think that being a radio guy is
Superstar.
very easy.
Well, normally I only work 2 hours a day.
But I know Greg.
you could sell real estate.
Yeah. Greg gets up at what, 2, 3, and then he's in here working.
He's usually in here about 4.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I couldn't do it. In fact, I started working out with Beagle, and he scheduled me for 7, and I said 7's just tad early to commit to. So, so anyhow, and it's like they think realtors' jobs are easy, but I don't think our job is easy. Do you, Mark?
No, they are they're challenging times that we have right now.
Yeah, and so Jackie and I made a list of all our transactions and everything that we dealt with on each transaction. Summarized it. So it's important to get a realtor that knows what they're doing, I think. What do you think?
I would agree. And a lender and an appraiser.
You're at
And
the
an
whole
underwriter.
right. And I was talking to Craig Telbert yesterday, and he was talking about the fewer lenders and the more struggles with underwriting, and people just don't understand the whole concept of our industry at this point. It used to be you could put a sign out, get an offer, and close, and that was it. That is not the case anymore. When's the
Yeah.
last time you bought a house, Mark?
It's been a long time. No, seriously, it has. Well, because I mean, the last house we moved into, we inherited.
Oh,
So yeah.
have you ever bought a house?
Yeah. I mean, but it was in the '90s.
Wow.
Yeah.
The 90s were the easy times. Now it's hard. Now it's not the case, as evidenced by. Let's see, as evidenced by my statistics, we've got about 36% of our transactions. My transactions last year or this year were cash.
Wow, that seems odd.
Cash.
Yeah.
Any explanation?
I would say that is reflective of the prices of the properties that are selling, and number one. Number two, the value that people see in properties, and how hard it is to get a mortgage.
Right. Well, I'm down in total volume.
Do you have an average sold price for the cash deals?
No.
No, Jackie didn't do that. Darn her. We had more land contract sales last year. We only had about a third of what we had in land contract sales this year. And I think that's as a result of...
The first-time home buyer's credit.
No.
I would say that would be a
Okay.
big deal, because I remember when that was going on, you did a fair amount of
contracts?
land contracts.
Yeah, I think part of it also has to do with so many people underwater, they can't do a land contract. I mean, you can't, if you got to do on sale on your, if you have to do on sale on your mortgage, you have to get permission from the lender, but let's say the lender will give you permission. If you are underwater in your mortgage, you shouldn't be doing a land contract, because you're probably not ever gonna, unless you can pay your mortgage down to what the land contract's gonna be. You look puzzled.
Well,
And if you want to see this puzzled look, you'll have to go to thinkingrealestate.com.
Go ahead and keep talking.
Okay.
I'm working through it.
Well, I mean, if I buy a house, I'm only going to pay fair market value for it.
Sure.
Right? And if fair market value is less than what the seller owes on the property, you can't do a land contract.
Well, sure you can, because I sold one somewhat recently, and the fair market value may have been 10 or 15,000. May have been 10 or 15% below what the buyers paid for it.
Okay.
And over the course of 5 years, they're going to put down $4,000 or $5,000 a year lump sum payments. And so when the balloon payment comes due, they will have paid enough of the principal down, as have the sellers, into the mortgage, that it will be.
Well, my concern is not on the buyer's side. It's more on the seller's side. If the seller owes more on the mortgage than what the house is worth,
But if the buyers are giving them lump sum payments and they're applying that towards the mortgage,
they're going to have to apply additional than just that lump sum.
no. Mm-mm. No.
As long as you did your math. I'd have to do my math for me to verify.
Well, in four or
if they're
5 years,
close.
they're paying down $20,000 worth of equity in that house. And so if the house is worth $100,000 and the mortgage balance in 4 or 5 years is $80,000, they'll be able to refinance that property without anybody bringing money into the closing. And if you want to see the confused look on her face, you can go to thinkingrealestate.com.
Now, the pair of confused looks will end up on the website at what time?
Probably by tomorrow.
Anyway.
Anyhow, I'll have to analyze that one a little. I'll get back with you. I'll get back with you next year on that.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, so let's talk about some of these.
I just had one close day before yesterday that I had things happen to that had never happened before, which was the appraiser had to go back out and physically go up in the attic and take pictures to prove to the underwriter that he had been in the attic,
You're
And-
kidding.
And he also had to take a picture of the water running in the faucet to prove that he had actually seen the water running.
Well, who's the lender?
First Franklin Bank out of Franklin, Tennessee.
I would not use them.
Well, there's a whole story that we'll talk about off the air. The underwriter required, there were 4 property tax ID numbers.
Okay.
And the underwriter made them all be combined into one. Before
Really?
So we had to have the title work updated right before closing.
Was it how big was the parcel total?
5 acres.
Huh?
It was a nightmare. It was silliness. It was pure silliness.
Why? You know, and
I'm not sure how much of this was the underwriter and how much of this was the processor, actually, or the originator. I think that there was some.
I mean, if they have a
origination
lien
issues.
on the whole legal description, what do they care if there's 4 tax ID numbers?
I hear you. But it was an issue.
Look at Mark
Daily.
Mark Daly
Yeah.
looks like he's about ready to take a nap.
Oh no, not at all. What are you talking about?
I had a.
You have to learn how to do that like
I had
Greg
a-
does. He
I
just
had a
puts his head
listing-
down like he's reading and he's really sleeping while we're talking.
I had a listing that the buyer almost backed out because there had been previous evidence of termite infestation that had been treated years ago. And her one criteria for a house in Jackson, Michigan was that she didn't want to have any kind of
Bugs.
termites in it, even if it had been treated. And so the person who actually did the pest inspection offered to put her in a car so that he could show her every single house in Jackson that had had previous infestation.
So that must be Dave.
It was Dave.
David Aardvark. You gotta love David Aardvark. He's the best.
But her pool of houses would have been so
Narrow.
narrow that
Right.
she finally realized that it was okay to buy one that had been treated.
Well, she must have talked. This is what I love, is when buyers and sellers talk to everybody but their realtor for advice. And so she probably had some guru that didn't know a thing tell her that you shouldn't ever buy a house that has had termites. What do you think?
I don't know.
Do you, Mark
Yeah.
Daly,
Yes.
do you
Yes.
do you get people giving you advice on how to do your radio show?
Oh my goodness, all the time. They call into the show.
Oh, and they tell you right on the air how to do that.
Sometimes they do, which is fine. Everybody
So it's
has
not
their opinions.
exclusive to realtors.
No, not at all. No, I think that happens in every profession.
Exactly.
Right.
That's just
This might be somebody willing to give us advice right now.
okay. Let's
So should we do it?
swing.
All right. News Talk 970, WKHM. You are on the air. Go right ahead.
Yeah, Mark, you do a great job, but sometimes you talk a little fast, so just slow down. That's why I voice you.
Okay.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Was it
Is that you or me?
That was. I think he was talking about me.
I think it was you.
Yeah, I think he was talking about
Well,
me.
as long as he didn't say Laura.
What? Did I say it wrong earlier?
No.
I
Didn't he
said-
say Mark?
Yeah, he said
you
Mark.
Do a great
Okay, I got
job.
you. Yeah.
Get it?
I thought because I made sure
No, you said my name right.
Anyway.
Laura Dwyer Schlecht.
Schlechte.
That's
Perfect.
That's what I said.
There's no K. It's always a T. And you did it perfectly.
Of course I did.
So let's look at some of these transactions. My first transaction was one that we bought. It was interesting because that was a foreclosure that we probably would have paid the bank. I tried to buy it before it went into a foreclosure, and we would have paid them more than what it came out on the market as. So it's short sales. We've had so many people walk away from short sales. What?
Oh, the buyers have walked away from
Yeah,
short sales?
yeah. Here's one where we had 3 buyers walk away.
Because of the length of time that it
Yeah.
takes to get the banks to respond?
Yeah, here's another one where we had 3. It's probably averaging 3 to 4 buyers per short sale.
I haven't had any walk away this year on short sales, any buyers.
Well, they get antsy. They want to be in a house. Here was a good one. We closed in 8 days of foreclosure, but we could do that because it was cash, and it was a local bank that owned the property.
I can top that. I wrote an offer on a Wednesday and we closed on a Thursday.
Oh my God! How'd you do it?
It was cash.
We listed a house on Monday and closed on
The
Friday.
buyer,
Oh, yeah.
The buyer was motivated. The seller was motivated. The title company got it done.
Got it. Well, we listed a house on a Monday and closed it on Friday. So it was a list and sell.
Well, mine was a list and sell as well.
Oh, okay. Fine.
I beat you.
You topped.
I win.
Here's one where FHA, the appraiser called out a bunch of things that needed to be fixed, and they were items that were installed inappropriately when the house was built originally.
And how old was the house?
I think it was that old. I want to say in the late 90s, maybe.
It was
Early
10
two.
years.
Yeah, 10 years old.
Did it have a certificate of occupancy?
Yes, because we checked with the township.
Got it.
But FHA didn't like it, I guess. There you go. Those lenders telling you.
Exactly.
What they're
You
gonna
know,
do.
the funny thing is about this place that I just was talking about, the underwriter requiring the appraiser to go back and do, was brand new, and the certificate of occupancy hadn't been obtained yet.
Uh-huh.
The lender never asked for it.
Oh,
Ever.
really?
Mhm.
Well, I didn't think about it.
Hey, let's take a quick break.
Oh, we're not used to breaks. You know, Greg usually
He just goes right through.
right through because
Don't mind
we're
me.
so riveting.
Hey, you just tell me what to do.
Well, you wouldn't want your job to be easy, would you?
No, not at all. I appreciate a good challenge.
You came to the right place.
I mean, if you took a break, we'd be done. Look at that clock.
We'd be close.
Yeah,
Right.
okay. Well, these people don't want to hear your ads. Well, you should. If you want to see Mark Daly's eyes wide open, you'll have to go to our website. Although I'm not sure that shows up. But just kidding.
Oh, wow.
Here's one where the one thing, this was 10 acres, and the biggest concern the buyer had was making sure he had the oil rights. And when all was said and done, he had an attorney review everything, and the oil rights were not included in the deed, the final deed that was.
But he still closed on it?
He closed on it and didn't get the copy of the deed until after closing.
Did that end up being your problem?
No, he had an attorney.
Got it.
We worked really hard on that particular. That was not an easy transaction. Here's a for sale by owner we sold, and I told them what I thought the price would be. They didn't like it, and they said no, they weren't interested. And when the buyer wrote an offer that was higher than what I recommended, the appraisal came in about $1,000 higher than the price that I had given them. So the sellers ended up taking the price. Sure, take a call.
Let's go to the phone lines right now. News Talk 970. WKHM, go ahead.
Yes, question for Laura.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. You're there.
For Laura, last week on your show, you quoted a bunch of numbers concerning property values. My son recently purchased a house, and he is going to be appealing his property tax assessment come March. And I thought those figures that you were quoting last week might be helpful. Do you have is there an email or is there a website I can go to get that information?
There
All
is
right, hold on. Thank you for your call. We appreciate it. Go ahead, Laura.
There is actually Jackie just posted statistics on our website at thinkingrealestate.com. And if you can't find them on there, feel free to call me at 780-3800 or email me at laura@thinkingrealestate.com.
All right. Very good.
But the tax tribunal people are probably going to want something more specific than general numbers. They're probably going to want to have numbers that are more specific to the neighborhood in which that house sits.
And if he just bought the house,
His realtor should
yeah, you'll have the sale. And if there's an
probably
appraisal,
an appraisal.
if he financed it, then take the appraisal to the tax tribunal. And the realtor can pull up a history. That would be valuable information.
Mm-hmm. And how long it took to sell.
Exactly. And depending on which township, and it may make a difference because some of them are easier to work with than others. We should have someone come on the show and talk about tax appeals.
Mm-hmm.
It's that time of year.
It is.
It will be that time of year.
Always looking ahead.
That's exactly right.
When somebody reminds us to.
So,
We got about a minute left.
Really?
Yeah.
see, if you would have taken that station break. Or
Well, we
whatever
would have
you
been
call
able to go closer to the top of the hour, so it all would have worked out the
Oh,
same.
I see.
Yeah.
So you do your commercials regardless.
Well, yeah, of course.
Because they're paying your...
You sell homes regardless,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah, okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, let's see. We have some price reductions. 386 Gilt's Lake Road, 45,510. That's a short sale. That's why we have odd numbers. That's a nice little house right across from Gilt's Lake. And then 1101 Pringle, nice house on the corner, and it's 45,200. And then Leeward has lake access, I think, to Pleasant Lake. And that's 4524 Leeward, and it's 120,000. Boy, is that a little cream puff of a house? Plus, it has a pool.
That is a nice pool.
That's a nice house.
Showed it this past
Two-story,
summer.
big rooms, cathedral ceiling in the living room. That's a good buy. Northwest Schools.
How much is
Easy
it?
to get to. 120.
All right. Is that it?
I'll have some next week. Price.
Well, you have something written down here.
Oh no, those were the little things I wanted to talk about. The little
Oh,
word
the
deals.
challenges.
Right.
I see.
I already did that.
Well, you didn't have very many challenges.
Well,
Oh, those were what I could remember.
Laura, Mike, and Mark. That's the second time I called you Mike. First
It's on
time was
your
off the
mind.
air. It must be.
You
guys have a
might be
great
thinking
New
of Mike Myers,
Year.
isn't
Could
he?
be. You guys have a great New Year.
Okay, same to you.